Kevin Garnett was one of the meanest and most vicious trash talkers that ever played in the NBA. KG had no filter. He cursed like crazy. He didn't take crap from anybody, and nobody was safe from his verbal assaults. Here are the most savage stories in Garnett's Hall of Fame smack-talking career. Cancer patient. Charlie Villanueva had a solid but very unspectacular 11-year NBA career, and the casual fans mostly know him for his somewhat unusual look. Villanueva has a condition called alopecia universalis, which, for all you non-doctors out there, simply means that Charlie can't grow any hair on his body. I'm sure that he's heard a lot of comments about it throughout his life, but during a game in 2010, Garnett decided to take it one step further and called Charlie a cancer patient. Charlie knew many people who died of cancer and was pissed that KG was treating it like a joke. He publicly criticized Garnett and his lack of touch, but Kevin defended himself and claimed that he never said the words cancer patient. In his version, he only said that Charlie was cancer to his team and the entire league. What a sweetheart, that KG. Honey Nut Cheerios. Carmelo Anthony is now a role player for the Blazers. He's slimmed down, and his offensive diet mostly consists of shooting three-pointers. In 2013, when Melo led the league in scoring, he was strong as a bull, and he mostly operated in the mid-post, where he would use his big posterior to back down opponents. On January 8, 2013, against the Celtics, Garnett and Melo were fighting in the post throughout the game with a level of physicality you cannot see in the NBA today, even though this wasn't even that long ago. KG got the better of Melo that night, who only shot 6 of 26 from the field, but the game will be remembered mostly for the fight between the two All-Stars. Usually calm and collected, Anthony lost his temper and he had to be restrained from fighting Garnett, who managed to rile him up like nobody else in his entire career. The rumor has it that KG told Melo that his wife tasted like Honey Nut Cheerios, to which Carmelo completely lost it and told Garnett that he'd be waiting for him by the bus after the game and fight him there. However, their bus rendezvous never happened, and Garnett denied that he ever uttered the words Honey Nut Cheerios to Melo, even though it definitely sounds like something KG would say. Bullied Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah grew up watching the NBA of the 90s, and Kevin Garnett was his favorite player. He had KG's posters, he was wearing his jerseys, and he modeled a lot of his defensive approach and warrior mentality after Kevin. When Noah finally came to the NBA in 2007, he was giddy to share the court with his idol and talk to him for the first time. During the game against the Celtics, a young Bulls rookie came up to Garnett and mentioned their mutual friend, a coach with whom they both worked out. Garnett gave him a death stare and asked, "Who the F you think you're talking to?" Noah was stunned and embarrassed. What Joakim didn't know at the time was that KG disrespected, trash-talked, and bullied almost any rookie that came to the league. So Noah, even daring to speak to him, was a big no-no. From that point on, KG became his biggest nemesis, and Noah tried extra hard every time they played against him. Noah actually said that this moment changed his career, and that it made him very intense during games, and that his friendliness was gone. Happy Mother's Day. Tim Duncan was very close to his mother until she sadly passed away one day before his 14th birthday. Timmy actually stayed 4 years in college because of a promise to his mom that he would graduate, which postponed his NBA debut until 1997. At the time, KG was already established as the best young power forward in the game, and the two future Hall of Famers immediately became fierce rivals. Duncan rarely ever talked on the court, and KG was trying everything to throw him off his game. May 9th, 1999 was Mother's Day and the date of Game 1 of the first-round playoff series between the Spurs and the Timberwolves. During the game, KG said, "Happy Mother's Day, mother effer," to Timmy, perfectly aware that Duncan's mom died of breast cancer. KG was ruthless and a crazy competitor, and he had no boundaries in his trash talk if he felt he could get under his opponent's skin and gain an advantage. Unfortunately for him, Duncan couldn't be rattled that easily, and he led the Spurs to victory in that game and hated Garnett ever since. Ready for war. Kevin Garnett wanted to win more than he wanted to breathe fresh air. Unfortunately for him, the Timberwolves didn't do much winning. Before he arrived, they never made the playoffs. When he got drafted, they got to the playoffs each year on KG's talent alone, but they couldn't do much after that. So when they finally assembled a talented team around him in 2004 with Sam Cassell and Latrell Sprewell, Garnett showed what he could do with more talent. The Wolves won most games in the Western Conference. KG won the MVP award, and they finally passed the first round after 7 straight first-round playoff exits. In the second round, they met Chris Webber and the talented Sacramento Sacramento Kings, and the series was even after 6 games. When asked about what Game 7 meant for him and how he prepared, KG provided one of the best sound bites in the history of the NBA. Game 7, man, this is it. This is for all the marbles. I'm sitting in the house, I'm loading up the pump, I'm loading up the Uzi, I got a couple M16s, couple 9s, got a couple joints with some silencers on them, I'm just loading up clips, got a couple grenades, a couple missile launchers with, a couple missiles, I'm ready for war. He said it completely deadpan, and I'm not entirely sure he was joking because of how passionate he was and how much he hated losing. Of course, KG backed it all up with his game, and he led the Timberwolves to an 83-80 win with 32 points, 21 rebounds, 4 steals, and 5 blocks. Made players and teammates cry. We already told you that KG was especially mean to rookies, but not even the rookies on his own team were safe. During the 2008 Celtics championship run, Glenn Davis rarely played, and when he did play, he made a lot of mistakes, like all rookies do. Davis looked up to KG a lot, and when Garnett yelled at him and cussed him out after he made a mistake in the game, Davis couldn't take it, and he burst into tears on the bench, which earned him the nickname Big Baby. A similar thing happened with Andre Blatche in 2010. Blatche played for the Wizards, and he got absolutely crushed by KG's defense in the fourth quarter where he couldn't buy a bucket. Of course, it didn't stop there, and Kevin was taunting him the whole time, adding an insult to injury. Blatche was visibly upset, and he was barely holding up tears on the court. Humbled a young Austin Rivers. Doc Rivers coached Kevin Garnett on the Celtics from 2007 until 2013. Austin Rivers, his son, now a 9-year NBA veteran, was sometimes practicing with the Celtics when he was still a high school junior. Austin was a big star in high school, and he was cocky as hell, which is easy to understand for a jock teenager whose father is a former NBA player and a current coach. One day, Austin showed up at Celtics practice, and he played Kendrick Perkins one-on-one. Rivers had beat Perk in the game to 5, with 5 points to Perkins' 0. Brash and talented as he was, he immediately challenged KG next. Austin scored the first bucket, but KG didn't even have his shoes tied. Once he tied them, the clinic had started. KG showed young Rivers that he has a lot of work to do as the game finished 5-1 for Garnett. Austin was so angry that he kicked the ball into the stands, after which his dad threw him out of practice. Don't mess with a hungry Garnett. KG was very old school in many ways, and he always respected the vets on his team when he was a younger player, and he expected the same thing from his rookies when he got older. Mason Plumlee was a rookie with the Brooklyn Nets in 2014, and he needed to learn a few lessons. He ordered his food before the veterans on the team plane, and KG wasn't having it. He made Plumlee act as a stewardess for the rest of the flight and serve food to the entire team before he finally had a chance to eat. Another food story happened during KG's tenure with the Celtics. It was an unwritten rule that the players, who had burnt up a lot of calories during the game, all ate when the game was over. The food was always waiting for them at the team facilities, and one time a couple of team doctors were there eating the food. KG came over, knocked the plate out of one doctor's hand, barked that this was the players' food, and told them to get out. It was a classic example of KG's willingness to die for his teammates and being an ass to everyone else.